Hello and welcome to this episode of Raising Remarkable Teenagers. I am so excited today, and I'm going to tell you why I'm excited. And I suppose you can already tell I've got a beautiful guest with me here. And as always, this series, this program is for parents who want to raise highly effective teenagers, and this is for you if you want to have a if you want to have peaceful parenting, if you want to reach your parenting goals, and if you want to have that enriched relationship with your kids and especially your teenagers. And as always, we bring you lovely content with very highly informed people and experts who can advise us and actually have conversation with us. They can give us strategies, snippets, and steps to help us raise really highly effective teenagers. And today, my guest is Mayira, lovely Mayira. She's a life coach. She's a careers advisor for our young people. You guys know I get excited about talking about parenting and educating our young people because I know if we get it right, we've got some bright future. We've got some beautiful and bright future. And what is it every parent wants? All of us, each one of us, even when we don't talk about it, what we want is to raise highly effective teenagers. So Mayira, over to you.
Thank you, Angie. Thanks very much for the opportunity here. So in brief kind of information, I am Mayira Thomas and I am an educator. So for the past 20 years, I've been working within education as a teacher, a mentor for college and university students, and also a careers advisor. Mm-hmm. And I'm currently doing life coaching as well, particularly for adults.
Yeah.
So it's across the band that I have seen a lot of commonalities, whether I've been with 3-year-olds or 18, 19-year-olds, the essence is the same. There's a need for acknowledgement of who you are. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's really why I want to spread this message so much more, because I work with teenagers a lot. And what I see is, I'm in a privileged position because I see them one-to-one. Mm-hmm. And, I'm not their teacher and I'm not their parent. And I look at it as a privilege, and they inspire me day in, day out. Because fundamentally it's about conversation. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I say it's conversation with them, not to them or at them. That small word with, that preposition, is very, very important.
Absolutely. I like what you say about conversation with them, because it's a relationship. It's a relationship with another person. No one likes to be talked at. No one likes to be talked to. People like to feel valued, and that's what I feel you saying.
Yeah.
Our teenagers especially want to feel valued. So it's up to us to, if we've been doing it in where we speak to them, we need to change that game. We need to change it to talking, speaking with. So it's an engagement. And actually, I think in teenage years, from my experience, and also from what you're saying, is we almost get to a point where we are at par. And I think it's important for us to start seeing them actually on a human to human basis,
Yeah, oh, definitely. Absolutely. Always, yeah. Even little ones, even, it doesn't matter who you are, I still think you just treat them as another being. That's how I see every person I'm in front of. I just see them as a being.
Absolutely.
Because you come with your own story.
Absolutely.
And and I was a teenager, and what I think, of course I was a teenager, but I was also first generation British Asian coming in, and I fought with my identity in the middle of even being a teenager. So I can relate as well to that, where they're still figuring out who they are. So, you know, if they're in a bad mood, or if they're just not responding, it's not personal. It's actually what's going on within them.
Absolutely.
But they might not express it themselves. They find it difficult in expressing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's a good thing that you mentioned about that battling with identity, because what happens in the brain in teenage years is that they have that, there is actually an identity crisis, because they've lived most of their life as little kids, things being done for them, not a lot being asked of them. But then they're jumping into this other age range where there is a lot of responsibility expected of them, and they are almost mourning that being a child. And remember, they are not adults yet, so they are in that age where, what am I? And that's why sometimes they want to behave like adults, and on the other hand, they're behaving like kids, because they're still in that, it's almost a limbo time.
Yes.
And it's very important for us to be supportive of that. It's a very fragile time in their life, isn't it? You have worked with
and actually, I often say, when I'm, if I'm speaking to parents particularly, or carers, if, let's say they say to you, I just want to spend more time, can you come and watch a movie with me, mom, dad, whatever, and the parents are like, oh, I haven't got time, or whatever, what they're actually asking for is your time. It's not necessarily that movie. So I often will say, it's actually what's not being said is really important. It's the unsaid words that actually, that's where the clues are.
That's right.
And it doesn't mean you're a bad parent. No, that's not what this is about. This is about listening to what's underneath those specific words. Because, teenagers are quite cool, and they're like, nah, I don't want to be asking all this. So they might ask it in another way. And you just need to read between the lines.
So what I'm hearing you say, and it's something that I talk about a lot, is that connection, leaning in.
Yes.
And listening, listening to what is being said as well as what's not being said, you're leaning in, you're in tune. Yeah. And it's when you get in tune, and what actually we are finding very interestingly, teenagers are known to, oh, I don't want to be with my parents, I don't want to, but actually the research is showing us more than ever in teenage years, they need that connection with parents. They need that love with parents. They may be big, or they may be thinking, oh, I don't want hanging around with these old people. They think when you're 30, 40, you're old, that's them. That's how they think. But we need to find those opportunities to connect. And in fact, what I say to parents, because the teenagers don't ask us to do things with them much, but I tell you what, when they ask you to stay with them or hang out with them, milk that moment for all it's worth, because it might not be coming soon. Yeah. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and they will say, they say to me sometimes, it's not the presents, it's not the gifts they want. Hello? Oh, there, you're back. Yeah, and it's not the things they want from them, it's the connection, like you said, but also that time. They're always like, I just want the time. I want to talk to them sometimes. But I also think it's about, yeah, not the correction of them all the time. It is that connection. That's
Absolutely.
quite a nice phrase. And also, if they make mistakes,
Mhm.
it's them, the parents, just to say, I'm here to hold you, guide you through something, because we're all human. We're all going to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
So it's not saying to them, oh, what a stupid thing you've done there. No, it's just saying, how can we make that better for next time?
Mhm. And what lessons did you learn in
You
that?
know, and I yes, exactly. Yeah, yes. And if it is an irritation for a parent to see that, well, maybe the parent needs to just think, what is it that's triggering me
Mhm.
to react in that way?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, and I again, I find that it's about that checking in yourself, that observation within yourself before you react.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a very self-reflective opportunity. The other day I wrote something in the lines of difference. You know, sometimes as parents we tend to label difference as difficult. Just because a young person is being different, they've got
Yes.
different opinions, they've got different how they do things, they've got different getting up times, they've got different way they dress. We quickly
Yeah.
label it as difficult, but we need to ask ourselves, just we need to take that moment before I label this as difficult. Is it truly difficult, or is it my perception of it? And am I accepting
Yes. Yeah.
the difference? It's okay to be different. And actually, it's in those differences that we can learn a lot about our young people, a lot,
Yes.
a lot
Yeah.
about them. So,
Yeah, exactly. So that difficulty comes because, as well, this is what matches with the system, the education system we have
I was about
needs to
to look
change
actually, I was going to
radically.
ask you there because I know you've worked in education for a long time, and I love to work
Yeah.
to speak with you with experts like you, because you can actually you're able to give us some insights, right? And you're able to give parents.
Yeah. So really, what I believe, what you've just said there about, yeah, if it's different, but you know, if they're different, it's, oh my gosh, why are they different? It's so tough because in schools, I mean, this is very general, okay? This is they have to get through a curriculum.
Yeah,
They have to do it a particular way.
yeah,
You know, even when we were at school, you conform to the teacher because they have to get through certain things.
mhm,
You're adapting to that person
yeah,
who is your, you know, the head of that classroom.
mhm, mhm.
And when you don't do things to according to what needs to be done, it just think, oh, they get frustrated. Sometimes they're not going to get that because they don't think like that.
That's right.
You know, it's like that saying, if you teach a fish to climb the tree, it's going to think it's stupid all its life,
Absolutely.
because the creativity is stifling their growth. So they're battling with that in school,
Absolutely.
and at home they're different again. So
Mhm.
it's and what I'm seeing as the aftermath of this is in adults. When I'm life coaching, a lot of it stems that underconfidence, that overwhelmment of where do I go next. Often it's because of this, their
Absolutely.
youth that kind of hasn't been dealt, or they haven't done the healing they need to, and all that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And so, in that case, for example, this is happening in school a lot, and I have personally done it because I have been a maths mentor, right? I'm a
Yes.
maths mentor, and what I saw and what I have seen is that you get teachers who think this is the only way to do something. And I have had to have some arguments with them saying, what do we want? What we want is that the child gets the right answer. How they get it, let them show us which method they understand. It doesn't have to be just the one method.
Yeah, totally.
And I remember introducing that to a school, and the kids started to thrive. The problem was the teacher before had just said to them, this is the method I'm looking for. What if you don't, even some of the methods, myself, I was struggling with them. But ask me to give me, what I want is, show me how you've done it, right? Show me how you've done it. How you've done it, that's your creativity, that's your root. And it's okay. And I think that's what we need to embrace in the society. And it's very difficult, especially for parents, because you don't know what to support, because sometimes you're thinking maybe your kid is just being difficult, they don't want to follow the rules and everything. But if we can have these conversations with them, even have these conversations with the teachers. Yeah, after all, our teachers are human beings, right? You can have that conversation and say to them, what about you allow them to show you, you allow my young John to show you how they are able to do this. As long as they're making progress, that's what we should be looking for, and not forcing them to fit into a particular, into a particular
box.
Box.
I know.
And saying that, what do you think in terms of that being forced to fit into a particular box has the impact on mental health, on mental wellness?
Yeah, so what I see is indecisions are big style. They don't know how to make decisions often because they're just not with it. They're not confused. They're too confused, or they're just like underconfident, a lot of them. Or those who are extremely bright on the other end of it, they're nervous. I need reassurance. Am I actually doing the right thing? But what I see as well is the brilliance of some students, but they're so like, I'm not really good academically. They're not, according to this linear scale we have. But, there was one student, and I'll never forget him. He was amazing. Like, he knew boats inside out. And I was like, I just sat back, I put the pen, everything down. I was like, come on, tell me more. How would you fix this? Or how are you getting this boat at a faster speed? Because he won a competition for Honda or something.
Wow.
But he was so this is what happens because he's academically not showing the marks. He was like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good. And I was like, he could probably go into the Greek islands and work on the yachts out there, because he knew that was where his skill was. That was where the talent is. So schools need to be more, they need to change in if I had my school, I would say I want time in nature, horticulture, facilitating classes rather than teaching at them. Kidpreneurship, entrepreneurship. I want that in the curriculum, because people are so unique in their skills, and finding out more about who we are is through learning and doing.
Absolutely. There is a course I teach young people called Becoming an Extraordinary Young Person. And what you just mentioned there was about teaching one of the things I teach them is who they are. And almost always when they come out of that, they're like, I did not know how intelligent I was, because I show them what intelligence means. And intelligence, and I give them example. I give them example of people in the world. I give them example of athletes. I give them examples of footballers. I give them examples of craftsmen. And then I give them example of scientists, of doctors.
To
begin with. They'll always choose, oh, we think this person's who's intelligent. But then when I show them what and speak with them about exactly what intelligence means and what and how each one of us has intelligence and has a purpose
Yes,
that no one else can fill that space that you came to this world to fill, that you just see them go, oh my God, it's like kids, it's like some sort of reincarnation, like kids are coming back to life. And you can,
it's lovely to see.
and
Yeah,
it's so amazing. It's so amazing to see a kid like the one you spoke about, they know both inside out.
yeah.
There was a kid I was speaking to, not very good at any of the subjects in school at all. But boy, that kid could put together electric wires, and you're thinking, how did you even think of that kid is likely to be a top engineer, in my view. But think about the school system sometimes, how it can hinder some of these talents because they think you're not intelligent. I'll tell you a quick story about I know this is your session, but I'll tell you a quick story about one of my lecturers in uni. He was a top dance lecturer. I didn't do,
Yeah.
but he became a friend, so do you know, I'm not going to mention his name, although his name is actually quite in the public, but because he hasn't told me that I can mention, I'm not going to mention his name. He is a top dancer. He has danced all over the world. He has performed all over the world. In fact, he's a professor in dance. But can I tell you the most almost laughable thing was that only 3 years ago did he pass his GCSE maths. And that's after redoing it again and again and again and again. So tell me, is is my lecturer friend intelligent or not? What do you,
Course.
is he intelligent or not?
Of course he is.
He
You
is
know,
an intelligent person.
yeah,
He may not be good at maths, which it was GCSE math. In fact, he said he scraped through. He nearly had something, and he even said he thought they felt sorry for him because they probably looked at how many times he's done it and just said, let's give him this one. So we need to be careful about what we label as intelligent as well. Yeah.
yeah. And I think as well, I think success of life is, it needs to be talked about more. What is success? Because, you know, resilience, that lecturer definitely showed resilience. And I think through the year 10s, particularly, year 11s, yeah, the year 10s, I call them, yeah, the ones who missed out
Yeah.
the chunk of their, you know, because of COVID.
Yes.
I will speak to them now and I'll say, look, you've adapted, you are resilient,
Absolutely.
you are coming through this. Think about the skills there that you've developed. They've never, most of them haven't looked at it like that.
Mm.
So our skills come in all sorts of different formats and will continue to do that so as we grow older. But I would instill, so here's another example of what they think should be done. This lovely girl, she came to see me. Her parents said, can you see her for me? She's going to drop out of her A levels. We don't want her to do that. So it's a couple of years ago. And she said, I sat down and we had this conversation. And I asked her about her learning styles and everything else. And anyway, she decided she wants to go to college rather than the school and do 1 year in business.
Mm-hmm.
And her parents went to the open evening and I said, it's up to you. This is just a suggestion from what you've told me. Maybe you could do this. Try it. Go for the open evening.
Mm-hmm.
She did. And a year later, I asked how's she going? And she said it was the best decision she made. She's the happiest ever. Her parents are delighted because they can see her thriving rather than just being really unhappy and miserable that she was in year 12.
Mm. Mm.
And she said to me, actually, most of my friends who finished, they just don't know what they're doing. because we're in that fear. We're not going to follow the norm.
Absolutely.
What is the norm? You know, I've written a poem all about normality. There is no
Yeah.
normality.
You need to share that with our viewers, and or just maybe just share it down at the bottom of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it. Would you like me to?
Yes, please. We love that.
But I do, and I will. I've written it from my heart because I know what it was like. You know, when you're trying to be someone for society, for the sake of, rather than for yourself.
Mm.
And I feel so much more happier because I'm on that journey myself and I'm loving life. And that's what I put to my students. You know, love yourself first. That's where we need to begin.
That's right.
And you know, so yeah. So here's the
Just before you read the poem, would you recommend the same to parents, like love yourself, so that you're able
yes,
to
yes.
instill that love of self to the kids? Do you think that is something?
Yes, because children and all of us, I think we learn through example. You cannot sit there and say to anyone, do this, do that. How many of us are going to listen, really speaking? So if I wanted to get more fit, the more people have told me that, the less I'm going to do it until I'm really ready.
Yeah.
So when the parents show exactly that example of taking care of themselves first, so their cup is not just full, but overflowing.
That's right.
That radiates out to the child.
Wow. That is what in psychology we call modeling.
Yes, I totally.
It's
Yes.
modeling. I love that.
You know, and if a child is upset, it doesn't matter. Get down to that kind of level with them. Join them in that before you bring them back up. Instead of like, you know, if you say, oh, it's fine, just deal with it. Toughen up. It's okay, you know, get on with it. Yes, not then. Acknowledge that first. Like you said, model it. Get down to that and, you know, match them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
So what I hear you saying is when your child or your teenager comes with a problem, don't just ask them to get on with it. Be compassionate
yes,
and
empathy.
empathy, compassion.
Yeah,
Then you can come up together. That way you can help them gain the strength to come back.
definitely. That's what coaching is about. You see, because I'm not a counselor, and you know, counseling has its place, but coaching, it's about tapping into the resources we have naturally within us and moving ourselves forward in a positive way.
Absolutely.
So that's when we grow a little bit at a time within our confidence and our self-esteem. There's two different, it's different, confidence and the esteem, the belief that we have about
Yeah, I
ourselves.
saw you write that the difference. Can you just tell us that difference? I thought it was very interesting. And what actually I know what it is, but then I thought I never thought that people didn't make the distinction. And when you wrote it out on Facebook, I was
Yeah.
like, I want more parents to know this. I want more parents to be able to understand that. And I want more parents to be able to explain that to their young people. Can you
Yeah, so
explain it?
yeah, so for me,
Did it?
I think the magic I believe anyway, I believe that the magic starts when we believe in who we are first, because we can be good at things. So the confidence is that we are good at this or doing something. Like I use the example of celebrities, you know, but do we actually believe and like ourselves enough to have those loving relationships, those balanced lifestyles, you know, because you can be amazing. Like Whitney Houston is the lady, I know she's probably a different generation, you know, to the teenagers, but she was a phenomenal singer. Well, we all know that, but she didn't like herself. She didn't think she was good enough.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need to accept when we get to a level of self-esteem or self-belief, how do you rate someone? What kind of, esteem do you rate them at? That kind of saying we hear a lot about. But do you believe that you really are worthy?
That's it.
Have you accepted your flaws as well as your skills and your talents?
That's right. I love that.
And that's where I think that's when you grow.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that self-esteem. And it's a self-esteem is something, it's a knowing. It's
It is, yeah,
a
for sure.
knowing that you are worthy.
Yes,
It's a knowing that no matter how my neck looks like, I am good.
yes,
I'm good.
yeah,
In fact, you don't even have to tell anyone that. You're thinking, look at my hair. I am good, right? Look at my fingers. I am good. They don't have to be like anyone else's. I am good. I am worthy. There is a purpose
yeah.
for which I was put in this world because
That,
everything in this world is different. Life made it that everything is different. Every blade of grass is different,
yeah.
including every human being is different. And we need to start accepting ourselves as such, right?
And loving ourselves as
And
well. Yeah.
loving ourselves. I want you to read that
Yeah,
poem.
that's a big one.
Yeah, I'm really waiting for you to read that poem. I'm looking forward to hearing.
It's called Normality. That's what it's called. So, what is normal? Who is normal? Normal is but an illusion. What is normal to the spider is chaos to the fly.
Wow.
Who defines normal? What is this normal we feel compelled, obliged, forced to conform to? All I know is we have our own minds, bodies, and true essences. We only need to use these to the best of our abilities within our right environment. Being the best of who we are and doing what we feel is right and just, bringing goodness and service to and for others, is what can bring us true joy.
Wow.
This being true to ourselves is not an easy road, but once we master it, our normality becomes our road to freedom.
Wow.
Normal is but an illusion. Normal is what spoils us from our zest for living and never frees us from fear of judgments. So live life to what makes you you. Be inspired to be you.
Oh, by
That's
Mayira
it.
Thomas. That is so amazing. I think every kid, I mean every parent, every young person should memorize that, right? I think we should
I've been asked, yeah.
I think we should all memorize that so that when someone says or thinks you're weird, you've got that conviction inside of yourself, you've got that strength, you've got that self-esteem to just help you carry on, help you move on. Do you know what? I'm loving you so much. I think we should have you I think we've got so much to talk about, but and I think we should.
I know, but it's lovely, Angie. It's absolutely. It's something that's very dear to me.
Absolutely. Now, just before we finish, I would like you to give, from any of the topics that we talked about, what would be your, what we call snippets or steps or strategies that you'd like to share with parents of our teenagers? What is it that you would like to share at this?
Yeah, so one of the really big things I think we need to incorporate within families is gratitude.
Mhm.
So when we sit and we discuss what have we actually enjoyed about the day, what have we got in our lives that we are happy and pleased about, but
Mhm.
it has to be done consistently, not just a one-off. So when I ask students, I'll say to them, just out of, especially if they're really upset or something, I just say, think, what's good in your life at the moment.
Mm.
And it can be things like, um, the sky is blue, I'm breathing, I'm alive, I have a roof over my head,
Mm.
I have running water. I'm very grateful every single day, because I wake up and I think, thank you, I'm actually here, and used to the best of our abilities. That's what we need. But if we can incorporate that with parents as well, at the end of the day, you just need to write even one sentence, but
Mhm.
it's acknowledging that actually,
Mhm.
what's good in my life.
Right.
Because once we start doing that, like for 28 days at least, you'll see a shift in your energy levels and your mind changes. Start seeing things differently. The more you do it, the more that's going to be wonderful. So that's one of the ones I think we need, and that's something we need to bring in to school as well.
Absolutely.
But for parents, another one could be affirmations,
Mhm. Mhm.
writing with your child, maybe, what are you good at? Or I am strong, or I am beautiful,
Oh yeah.
I am amazing.
Absolutely.
But it's picking out what suits your lifestyle. What's your favorite song?
Mm.
An uplift song that will change you into that positive mindset when you're feeling a little low.
Mm.
Something that you can reach out to that you enjoy. It might be baking a cake.
Mm.
It could be something you could do with your parents.
Mm.
What's an activity that both of you are going to enjoy and bond over? So
Mm.
there's all sorts of things, but it's never dictating. It's also just saying what suits your lifestyle.
Mhm. Brilliant. Right. I am so, I like that gratitude. And there's something that when you're grateful, when you develop that attitude of gratitude, you become such a you become such an open-minded person. You become a good and loving person to be around because you're grateful, you're bright, right? And one of the things I have found, especially with teenagers, when they develop that attitude of gratitude, they stop that sense of entitlement, right? They stop that sense of, oh, I don't have to say thank you. I should have this anyway.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
attitude, almost a nasty attitude, drops because
yes,
once you adopt a good habit, the bad habit has to drop because such is that is a law of the universe, which is the space. When one space, nature abhors vacuum. So once there's the good, if the good's there, there's no space for the bad, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I
And
love.
it's how do we look at things as well? How's the perspective?
Mm, I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
So,
There's lots. I would love to, and I say to them, these are life skills that
absolutely,
I would like to give. How does our mind actually create our own reality?
absolutely. I
So,
had one of my lovely teachers, Wayne Dyer. He used to say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
things around you change.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
yeah. It's
powerful.
true. I'm living through that.
Uh,
Yeah,
that's how
it's very true.
I'm so grateful, and I am so thankful. I'm sure our viewers, our listeners are so excited about those the sneak
Wow.
peek, the strategies that you've given us. So how can they contact you? Because I think you you're a very valuable contact to have. I think every parent should have your
Thank
contact
you.
because I'm just feeling I want to send you some of my kids there because sometimes we are not we I can't do it all by myself. It's really it takes a village to raise these kids, and I want
Yes, yes, it does. Yeah.
and since we don't live in villages anymore, it's these conversations that we are having. That's exchanging of ideas. That's what the village is. So I would
Mm.
like people to be able to contact you. How do they do that?
So it's I only at the moment have a life Facebook group a Facebook page, Life Coaching by Mayira, and my Instagram, which actually young people, if they have, they can, this is very positive. There's, positive stuff on there in mayira.t.
All right.
I am working to get like an official email, but you can find me on Facebook, and just message me through there for now. And I'll be getting a website and stuff coming up.
Thank you so much, Mayira Thomas.
And if anyone does want me, I'm a motivational speaker as well. So, if anyone would like me to come and speak about being yourself and, that kind of creating your own reality, I can speak about that as well.
Oh, brilliant. So, guys, there you've got it. You can contact Mayira on Facebook. Is that Life Coach by Mayira?
Yes, Life Coaching by Mayira, empowering you to fulfill your goals.
Absolutely. So you've got that, and I'm so excited, so honored. And I'm sure we'll be having you next, because I could hear you've got snippets on confidence. I could hear you've got snippets on, we barely covered we barely scratched the surface, I think. But I'm so grateful, and thank you so much for being here. Bye.
Thank you, Angie.